this is Albear playing Salt and Sanctuary. Well, let's go. New game. What is my name? Let's go with Canius. That works. Let's see. What do we want? We want a male with... I like the Antimian hair. I prefer the color cloud. White hair. I like that. Keep a clean face. Eye color, let's go with silver. Origin. Our origin will be Jonah's Landing. And our effects will go with the grasping ring. I can explain what each of these items does. So the red shards is a small healing device. It's not as good as your what would be compared to an Estus flask. This is like temporary healing that does not recharge when you go to your sanctuary. I prefer not to use these. They're very slow. You get a lot of them, but I prefer not to use them very often. Stone Cell Sword allows you to place them at a sanctuary in order to co-op with other players. I do not plan on co-oping in this broadcast, so we'll go ahead and ignore that. Amber Idols are used to upgrade your weapons. However, they are easily farmed by fighting ogres, so probably not the best thing to go with at the beginning. The best two items that you can start with are the Grasping Ring, followed by the Crystal Sphere. The Grasping Ring allows you to gain more salt per kill, and the Crystal Sphere allows you to change an altar to the altar of your faith without incurring any penalties. So crystal spheres are not easy to find in the game. However, it's secondary only to the grasping ring. The grasping ring is better if you want to get experience faster. So that's what we'll go with. And we'll venture forth. Perfect. I'm going to skip this intro. Basically, you're transporting a princess to another island, another kingdom, so that a peace treaty can be signed. However, you'll see what happens. Alright, stranger, we've been boarded in the night. They'll want to kidnap the princess and ransom her. And there you go. Bye-bye. Alright, so there's that. I'm going to go ahead and switch to two-handed weapons. You do that by hitting L1 to switch between your two weapon sets, which can be found here. You have a Varangian sword, Escutcheon. I probably destroyed that terribly. And then in your other weapon set, I have the same weapon except I have it two-handed. So that allows me to switch between having a shield and not having a shield. So let's continue on. I'll pop a couple of these pots, see if they have some gold in them. Or do not. You can't hit these guys until they finish what they're doing with the cruise on board. That's quick time. Ooh, that was not smart. I probably should not have done that. However, for the sake of fighting the next boss, it doesn't matter, since he can only kill you in one hit anyway. So it makes no difference how much damage I take in this beginning part. Get some gold. Now, for the sake of this playthrough, I'm going to unequip all of my items. I'm doing this because this gives you the fastest possible roll, and I'm going to need that if I hope to beat this boss, which I do not believe that I will be able to do. So let's give it a try though. The Unspeakable Deep. He's very slow. His attacks are extremely telegraphed. Oh, he just killed me. That's what happens when you talk and play. So I have not killed him yet. I have not been able to. Yeah. That's your typical Dark Souls-esque first boss. Kind of beat your ass. This one, you do not get to fight him again. If you cannot beat him in that go-through, you will never be able to fight him again. So let's put our armor and weapons back on. I'll put the shield back on, however, I'm going to put it over here as my secondary set. Not that that makes much difference. You'll see a gentleman on the lake. You want to talk to him. I tend not to read the text as much. However, it's very important to read the text in this game. I will not be reading it out loud. If you want to read it, please pause the game and read it. I'm a follower of the 3. If you say no multiple times in that section, you will have the option to pick between 3 different faiths. However, the easiest faith is the one that gives you the candelabra of the 3. So saying yes will give you the candelabra. These bottles are instructional messages. I don't need those. So skip on. Go ahead and grab some stuff from here. I hope to make each segment of this game roughly 20 minutes, if not maybe a little longer hopefully, but we'll see where we go. The key that I picked up will allow me to go into the sanctuary, where, upon entering, you can grab a little bit of gold. In my item slot, you see that I can use an item with the R1 button, so I go to the unclaimed sanctuary, and I'll claim it with the candelabra. That will turn the sanctuary into a sanctuary of the 3 gods. So the sanctuary of the 3 is now, you can see them in the background, and that means that this is a sanctuary that is religiously aligned to me. So I can have people come here and buy things and trade things with them, equipment, form leaders, things like that. Go ahead and grab this chest up here. Alright, red shard and a pouch of salt. I am not new to this game, so I will not be being slow. I'm definitely going to be, I wouldn't say running through the game. I'm definitely no speed player, but I know what I'm doing for the most part, so I'm going to be playing as though I know what I'm doing. I'm not going to be pretending like I don't know where everything is. Alright, so we get to our first challenge. This is the Festering Banquet. Alright, so right there. Appreciate that. This build I'm going to go for Great Sword. That's going to be my primary build. I like to come back and finish off these guys in the background that like to take their time. So this will be a Great Sword build. I have tried a lot of the weapon types. I have not actually tried a Great Sword build before, so this will be something new. My other playthroughs were before I started streaming, so they will not be included, unfortunately. Alright, there we go. Chopping them up. I'll try to explain all the secrets and special things that I have as we go. If there's anything I think that's special and needs to be... Well, that was an opportunity for teaching, but I'll let it slip by. When enemies fall on the ground, you can walk up to them and hit circle. That will allow you to stomp them into the ground and destroy them, basically, without having to hit them any farther. It usually happens when they fall to about 25% of their health, or maybe 20%, I'm not sure the exact percentage. But when they get low enough, you can walk up and stomp them, and that's a nice way to finish enemies off that are difficult at times to fight. The lesser enemies do not have that mechanic. Alright. Dogs. It had to be dogs. Alrighty. Get him out of the way, it'll make the dog a lot easier. There we go. I just pick everything up. I don't really need to look at it. I know generally what all the items are in the game. So I will not be looking at the items very much through this playthrough. Alright, over here. Jump over here. Oh, gravestones are neat. They show you how players have died close to your area. So I'm not sure exactly what killed him, but... Alright, 3 red shards. Like I said, I'm not a fan of red shards. I don't really use them very often. And we get a stone cleric. So the only way you can go from here now is down here once more and through this door. I'm not a big fan of red shards. I don't believe that they're a good healing item in this game. I think they could probably use a little bit of a buff, because I don't feel like they do much of anything. By the time you really ever want to use them, they're already obsolete. So, because you have the red flasks. Now that is the Salt and Sanctuary's version of the Estus flask. So they will restore at every altar you visit by hitting circle. And, ooh, a lot of hair already, that's awesome. I'll explain that in a moment. Yeah, so pretty much you have a refillable, reusable healing item that heals things very, very quickly. Not only does it heal things very quickly, it also heals for more health generally than the smaller red shards do. Alright, so let's see if I can do that little bit of a tutorial thing for this. Oh, nope, messed up again. Look at how much damage this sword does. So I know in the future, hit those guys twice and then show you what I'm talking about. I've got the bandage ring. The bandage ring reduces the wounding effect. So what the wounding effect does is basically, in the game, you have a ring that reduces wounding, and the way it works is you have a health bar up top. The more difficult damage you take, the more heavy damage you take. Sorry, my girlfriend's laughing at my cat. The more heavy damage you take, the less your health is reduced, the more your health is reduced. And that's basically sort of like hollowing in the Dark Souls games. And that's the way that works. Basically, you don't get it for dying, you get it for being... Oh, there we go. Bam! Crushed. Alright. You don't get the wounding effect for dying, you get the wounding effect for taking heavy damage. Usually from taking very strong attacks. Yeah, so this run's going through pretty good. Alright, let's get that. There'll be a guy popping up right here. Take him out. Alright, chop this head off. Alright. Over here, this is how you get the item that was too high to get. That's your journey bottle. The journey bottle lets you leave notes, sort of like in the Dark Souls games where you could leave messages. At the bottom here, you have a gate that leads you back into the banquet, the beginning of the banquet. And then the mend spell, or prayer. I don't actually use prayers or spells very often in this game. I don't see a need for them. Kind of makes it too easy. So we'll not be progressing much with magic or prayers in this game. So in this little room over here, right here, which is deceptive, this is a semi-altar, or a candle room. So what the candle room does is it gives you back your red flasks, as well as restores your health. But you cannot do anything else in this room as you would in a regular altar. It simply restores your consumables that can be restored, and restores your health. It also brings enemies back that you've killed. So it acts like an altar in that way. Over here, we'll pick up a stone blacksmith and a red shard. The stone idols that you pick up are the items that allow you to summon people into your sanctuary. So, right here is a candelabra with a skull. Whenever you see a candelabra with a skull, that means that a boss fight is about to happen. Let's go ahead and take this boss on. I'm pretty confident in my ability to beat this guy, so let's go. Let's see. Bring flame. That's not really necessary. As long as you know his pattern, it's pretty easy to dodge. R2 is your roll button, so play, roll. Ooh, nice, quick attack. That's a long thrust. He's doing the jump. Alright, this is a lightning. You always want to jump over his lightning attack, basically. I should get 2 hits in on most lightning attacks. Nice. Nice. Now, after he gets to a certain amount of health, his lightning attacks will add on that jump as well. So let's go ahead and here comes the jump. Oh, I knocked him out of it. I've never done that before. He'll jump. Swing, swing. And then eventually he'll start adding other things on to that. Another barrage of attacks afterwards. So that's what I'm kind of being careful of. Okay, there's the other barrage. Oh, I did not time that correctly. So I'll heal real quick. I don't want to I don't want to die. No, bump, and then bang, bang, bang. Whoa, whoa. Oh, man. He just hit me with just a tip. Dead. Oh, no. Not dead yet. One more. Dead. Oh, epic. Slicing in the air. That's awesome. Always sit around and get your gold. Alright. Enemy vanquished. Nice job. 15 minutes in. We got the first dashes in the fortress key. Awesome. So what I do from here is I tend to drop down all the way to the bottom. All the way to the bottom where we opened up the beginning of the banquet. Remember, enemies will respawn because I used the candle room. So just keep that in mind. The downwards thrust attack, or downward slam attack, is performed by jumping in the air and hitting triangle. Every weapon can do that, I believe, except for whips. Whips are the only weapon that does not have a thrust attack, or a slam attack, rather. Alright, cutting them up. More red shards. Cool. Get out of here, birds. Nuts. Bang, bang, bang. Alright. Bang, bang. Awesome. Alright, and there'll be one more guy down here. Pop out, guy. Bang, bang, bang. Awesome. Here we go. Leveling up time. I have 2,300 salt. So let's go ahead and level up. So you level up. Triangle and squares confuses people at the beginning if they don't have enough salt collected. So basically what happens is you can hit S to level up one time. Or if you have enough salt collected, you can hit square to increase the amount of levels that you have equal to the amount of salt that it requires. And triangle reduces it. So that's a little confusing. I know a lot of people see that and don't understand what it means. But yeah, so that's basically what that means. Oh, look at that. Another player. That's pretty awesome. Alright, cool. So I have 3 black pearls. The black pearls allow you to use, allow them to be used in the tree, which is similar to Final Fantasy X. So let's go ahead and zoom out real quick with square. And you can see the tree here. So we're going to be following the path of the Great Sword. I like to rush my level 5 Great Sword, or really level 5 anything. So right now I'm able to wield class 1 swords and 2-hand class 1 Great Swords. So I want to just continue, just take all the way up through the Great Swords. So we do that by taking pikemen, which is an unfortunate just a step to get there. And we can either go strength or dexterity. Since swords are primarily strength, we'll go strength. And then for class 2 sword fighter, we'll need 2 black orbs, but we only have 1 currently. Alright, cool. So that'll end my gameplay for this session. Thanks everyone for watching. Bye bye.